Welcome to Technically Analyzed. This is Dr. B and I will be analyzing AMC today. Before we start, I would like to remind you that I'm not a technical analyst or a financial advisor or even a professional trader. So please don't follow me blindly and also use whatever you see in this video as a tool during your due diligence instead of just following it blind. Alright, so if we look at the monthly chart of AMC, there is something very interesting here, which is the fact that we have been in a falling wedge, right? So there is a falling wedge here, and then now we are breaking out of it. We didn't have anything that indicates that this is going to happen, the whole thing with the Reddit and so on, but it's just a pattern. It's a falling wedge and then it breaks out here. So that's very, very interesting. All right, so this is just an observation, but it's not going to really add to anything to our analysis at this point. So let's have a look at the indicators and see what they say, right? So if you look at the super trend, we will notice that this month we are getting the buy signal, all right? The first time since a while, since 2017, we are having a buy signal now after this action that is happening. In terms of the EMAs, we have very interesting EMA here. The 50 EMA did not cross below the 200, and then now the 5 EMA started to cross above the 9 and the 13 EMA, which is great. So this means we are having buying pressure enough to take the EMAs above and crossing all the way, pushing towards the 200 EMA, and then they will get an order breaking above the 50 EMA and so on until we get them completely in order, which means that we have the bullish uptrend that we are expecting. In terms of the Bollinger Band Donchian channel, they are not going to tell us much, but then if we look at the DMI, we have something here that is good, which is buying pressure. The blue line is above the selling pressure. The buying pressure is increasing, the selling pressure is decreasing, and also the ADX, which shows the strength of the momentum, is actually making new highs, and now it's pushing up towards a newer high, and it's anyway above it's at 36, which is very high, indicating that this momentum is strong. All right, so if you look at the Ichimoku cloud, we will notice here that the Como cloud is red, but it's closing, and also we have been pushing it and trying to pierce it, but we haven't done that successfully this month, but this shows that we are pushing towards it. Now also we are seeing here that the conversion line is trying to cross above the baseline, which is good. So once it crosses, that's usually a buy signal, right? It's not a strong buy signal because it's happening under the cloud, but it would be strong if it happens above. But anyway, it's a good signal to see. So if we look at the weekly, let's look at all of these things again. So we have the Ichimoku cloud, we have actually pierced above it. All right, so we have pierced that cloud and we went above, and we are seeing here, if we notice that it's trying to cross and try to build that green cloud in there, which hasn't been there for a while. The DMI is also showing crazy, insane buying pressure, lower selling pressure, and the ADX is pointing up, going high. In terms of the Bollinger Band, it's widening now, but it's not wide enough. So this means that we can still run and have this Bollinger Band expand, which is good. The same for the DC channel. Since these are weekly candles, it's very big, that's spanning the whole thing. It's connecting the upper line with the middle line, which doesn't really tell us much. The super trend again, we are getting a buy signal, which is good. And the EMAs, we are seeing here that we started to cross the 5 EMA, went above the 50 EMA, and now it's the turn of the 9 EMA. And the 200 EMA is sitting at 1077, which we are well above right now, which is good. Now when it comes to the daily, the EMA is looking very nice. As you can see here, there is a golden cross about to happen, and usually big rallies start with golden cross. But also I remind you, and I said that before when we were analyzing Jivu, not every golden cross leads to a rally. So it's the opposite. Every rally probably started with a golden cross. All right, so that's for EMAs. Super trend, that's very nice and interesting. The super trend line acts as a strong support and resistance. So here you will notice that 2 days ago, for like 2 trading days ago, we bounced off the super trend, which is very, very good signal. This means we are bouncing up strong, right? In terms of the DC, we will notice that we are also, 2 days ago we closed below it, but now we are above it, and it seems like we are bouncing back up. And you will notice here that the upper line is at 20, and if usually this goes well, this means we are pushing towards this 20 and hopefully push it even further above. In terms of the IC, we are actually above the cloud. A green cloud is forming and the conversion line is above the baseline, and this is happening above the cloud, which is a strong buy signal usually. All right, so that's also very good. The DMI, as you can see here, there is conversion between the buying and selling pressure. The momentum is going up, but now the selling pressure is diverging, so it's going down, and hopefully this blue line will start to go up again, indicating higher buy pressure over the next week. So that looks good. So let's now overlay our charts, and as we can see here, we have two possibilities. We have a possibility, and let's do it for lower time frames to see the candles and how they bounce between these two lines. So the two scenarios that we may have in terms of pattern is either a triangle, which is a nice scenario because it shows that we don't have to drop much before we bounce back up. All right, this green candle here with all of these hammers showing that there is rejection of lower prices and trying to push up. All right, so this may suggest that we can just go and break out immediately, but I imagine we will face a lot of pressure, selling pressure at the beginning, trying to push that price down. So that's why I say if we are going down, then how far? And this is where we need to see these levels. So that's the first scenario. The second scenario is that this is actually forming a falling wedge, which is a worse scenario because this means we have to drop further before we bounce back up. So if that's the case, then we will see levels that are so low, which are around the super trend line that we talked about before, but I doubt that this is going there. So we will see. So in terms of the channel, we have a channel that was formed, and this channel is young, so we don't really know if it's very accurate. So the more it trades, the more we will see how it bounces between these levels of the support and resistance. This is the Fibonacci extension level, and it shows that our 100% Fibonacci extension level is at 27.89. So that's a level that we may actually test sometime soon as we push further. All right. So in terms of, if you look at, for example, here's the super trend, the lower time frames is red. It's giving a sell signal here, right? Which is not good, but at the same time, as I said, it acts as support, as you can see here. It broke, and then as resistance. So this means that there is a very strong possibility we are pushing up all the way to this level. So this level is at 27, which is similar to what we were talking about. All right. So that is in terms. You see here the super trend is at the 2-hour time frame is aligned perfectly with the 78.6% of Fibonacci extension level. So for the 2 hours we may see, and now this one is aligned with the 61. So in a period of 1 hour or so, we may be testing that, right? But again, we may drop first and then go back up. Okay. So if we look at the indicators, other things like, for example, the Donchian channel, we are actually tested the middle band, right? Tested the lower band, and then we bounced off of it, and now we are above the middle band, which is good. If you look at the 2 hours, we are right below it, and that's why it suggests that we are going to drop for the next couple of hours and then try to bounce back up again. For the 4 hour, again, we are below it. The middle line rejected. If it rejects, then this means we bounce back down and then try to go on and retest it again. So that's why I'm saying we will see a drop first, which everybody actually expected. I'm not saying something new here. Now, as we said, in terms of the daily, we are above. So this means that we will go and test and then go back up, because the overall trend that we are going up. All right. If we remove this and try to use the Bollinger Bands, right? Try to get some sense. You'll notice that we are at the middle band, which is nice. It's rejecting this price, which is good. So we may drop below it a little bit and then push back up. Okay, so that's for the Bollinger Band. And as you can see here, for example, Bollinger Band for 1 hour, it's contracting, which means that it's going to contract and then diverge. Now the contraction here, as you can see, it's showing drop. So we can drop all the way to this level first, which is the inner support of the channel, aligns with the lower band of the Bollinger Band on the 1 hour chart, right? Then maybe it pushes this one even further down and then push back up. So that's all a possibility. So in terms of the levels of dropping, I can see here the 9.79, that's a level which is the 23.6% Fibonacci extension level, will act as support, and then hopefully we will bounce back up and break out of this triangle, right, which is good. If the 9.79 does not hold, this means that we are going to break down. Don't panic, sell, because this means that we are forming another pattern, which is the falling wedge, not the triangle. So in this case, I would look at the level of 7.77, right, which was, I believe that is super trend. Okay, so that is the super trend. Let's remove this one. So that's the super trend on the daily chart. So it could be that we will retest the super trend and we get double bottom there and then go up. Okay, so that's another level where I do not panic if I see a drop. This is well below my average, but that's fine. All right, so if it goes below this further, in this case, that's where I start to worry. And I do not anticipate, with all of the hype that we are having right now, that this will go all the way down to this level. So I hope this helps. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and let others know about the channel. Thank you for tuning in, and good luck tomorrow and the next week or two, right?